What's happening, y'all? So, Bethesda says Nintendo is interested in their games. I don't know if I should be excited or worried. And the reason I say that is because PlayStation and Xbox have a running history with Bethesda, and Bethesda's games are never stable. Think about that. Think about that. When's the last game that was made by Bethesda ever stable? The remaster of Skyrim got an update that had a game crashing bug in the update when it was released. Think about that. Nintendo has had a glorified history of being a step above PlayStation and Xbox when it comes to games that do not cause their hardware to crash. Meaning, games that are released on Nintendo are stable. They will not release games that are unstable, that are going to crash or damage your hardware. They don't do that. They've had a glorified past of making sure that their products are good to go or they're not released. I've never come across a game on a Nintendo anything where it's going to damage the hardware. I've never had this happen. I have a Super Nintendo, a 64, a GameCube, a Wii, and a Wii U. The only game on the Wii U to ever crash the system was the Mighty Number Dumbass. And it made headwaves when it did it. In fact, I think it stopped sales where people just didn't buy it anymore. I don't think anybody's ever bought the Mighty Number Dumbass after it was announced that it's the only game to crash the Wii U. But everything else runs fine. Assassin's Creed, which glitches out on PlayStation and Xbox, runs fine. Frame rate problems, just like everything else, but does not crash on Nintendo. Nintendo does not release games that will full on crash. They don't. I've never seen this happen. But Bethesda has a running history, a glorified running history of releasing bugs, glitches, and just all around fuck shit like that within all their titles. I've never seen a game come from Bethesda where there's not some kind of fuck shit. And now they're like, we want to do more business with Nintendo. To me, that's saying we want to release our fuck shit on a Nintendo product because Nintendo is the most stable product on the market. We fuck Sony and Microsoft as much as we can. The only one left to do this to is Nintendo. Now, regardless of how you may feel about Nintendo graphically, you need to sit there and honestly slap yourself because you still are thinking that graphics make the game. When that's not the case. Graphics have never made the game. Because if you think graphics makes the game, why are you playing on a PlayStation again? Why are you playing on an Xbox again? Exactly. Graphics don't make the game. What make the game? Story, replayability, entertainment. 3 factors that make the overall experience of the game. And those things can be found more so on a Nintendo console than a PlayStation or an Xbox. Okay. Sure, you keep going back to play Call of Duty, but you play it online. You don't play the campaign 100 million times. Maybe 10 to 15 people do, but not the millions of people who buy it. You go back and you play it online in matches, and then you turn it off after 3 or 4. Be honest with yourselves. Don't sit there and lie to me like I'm an idiot. You're the fucking moron who keeps trying to lie to me saying that 1080p 60 frames a second when, what was it, PS4 Pro came out with the article talking about Witcher 3 coming in at 30 frames a second, still dropping frame rates on the PS4 Pro is impressive. Yeah, keep telling yourself these lies, okay? Even with the Boost Mobile where you at mode, okay? It's not gonna sit pretty, okay? You want to sit there and be like, Nintendo Switch, please don't mess this up. Don't worry about Nintendo's side of the things. That's the hardware. Nintendo's hardware isn't the problem. It's the software. Bethesda's side, okay? They've got to get the software right. The hardware is fine. If the software is fucked, the hardware's got nothing to do with it. Okay? They need to make sure that we get everything good. But we'll see what happens. I would like to see Nintendo release more third-party games. I would love to see that because then Nintendo starts showing more dominance in the gaming market, which is what they need to do because they're a gaming company, unlike the other two. But let's face facts. It's just something we're not really seeing right now. We're seeing two companies that got into gaming being a little bit more dominant because they're a little bit more looser with the rules because that's not really what they do. But if we can get Bethesda's software to be more stable on a more stable piece of hardware, then Bethesda might have something, and their something might turn into a really good product. But I wouldn't put the blame on Nintendo because they're not at fault. Because Bethesda's like, well, if we can just release a piece of crap onto something that has no rules, then people will still buy it. Think about that before you blast Nintendo for not releasing a piece of shit product. Because remember, they released the Skyrim Remastered Edition, and within the first week, the update was a game crashing bug that didn't allow you to play the game for an entire week after it was released. So before you blast on Nintendo, just remember that. Deuces.